Alrighty everybody, what's up? So, I don't really think I've done the official announcement on YouTube yet. Today, as you might notice, this is not the 250L. This is in fact a Honda, but it is not at all like the 250L. This is my new bike. But yeah, so this is the 2014 CB1100. Chain drive, air and oil cooled, so no radiator on it. It is a 6-speed and it hauls ass. I mean, it's funny because this bike has, I'm going to try to compare it to some other bikes, but it's going to be kind of difficult. So power wise, the CB1100 makes about 80, I think somewhere around 75 to 80 foot-pounds of torque and around 85, a little bit closer to 90 horsepower. And I will say that the power curve is very smooth. Like this, when I say this bike is butter smooth, I mean it is absolutely butter smooth. And one of the reasons I like that is I did briefly own a 1980 CB1100 and it was not running. But in owning that, I learned a lot about those bikes, and one of the things that the CBs were known for, especially the 750, was known for its smoothness. It was very smooth, and I don't doubt that that 750 was smooth, but I didn't get it running. I sold it before I got it running. But hopefully that other guy will get it running. But no, this thing looks like a CB. Well, it is a CB, but it looks like an old school CB. It's smooth like an old school CB, and it sounds pretty fucking nice. I will say it. Keep in mind, the only thing I have done to it is I have taken the muffler off because it sounds really nice, and it gives it a low end grunt to it, and I really like it. It's just, for my personal taste, it was way too quiet with the stock exhaust on, so I made the decision to take the muffler off. Other than that, the only thing aftermarket on it is going to be an aftermarket seat from, I believe it's K&H. More of a retro style seat. The original seat is more of like a flat, modern seat. Like there's no texture on the seat necessarily. Where this seat, I'll do a walk around here in a second and you'll be able to see it. I think I'll have an opportunity to pull over. Yeah, I'll pull over up here and do a walk around of the bike and talk a little bit about it. And I will take my goggles off for a second so they don't fog up. Yeah, this is the 2014 CB1100. I apologize, I did just clean it yesterday, but it's been raining recently, and I'm just basically made it dirty by riding here. But yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous bike, in my opinion. It's not everybody's style. I've heard some people call it very basic, and that's understandable, because it is, that's the point. But if this is your kind of style, then this is exactly what you want. I mean, this checks pretty much every single box I had for wanting a new motorcycle. I wanted something a bit faster. With that being said, I think I'll talk about that aspect more later, but this bike is speed limited at 112 miles per hour, which is something I hope to fix in the future. Yeah, you notice a little oil cooler on the front, fins for air cool. It's got old school styling pretty much everywhere. I think the only dead giveaway, the only thing I've heard someone say was a dead giveaway, is the new Honda logo, the circular logo, which I kind of wish they would have done the old school logo, but I completely understand not doing it. I mean, they didn't really sacrifice looks or style anywhere else on the bike, and I really do appreciate that. They did a very faithful recreation. Only some of the newer things, like the plastic attachments on the back and you know, the plastic in certain places, and obviously it's fuel injected. Certain things like that are a giveaway if you know what you're looking for. But if you know not that much about bikes, you're not like a bike guru, you're probably going to think this is from the 70s. So when I say this bike ticked off pretty much every single box I had, I wish it was faster, but I'm not letting that cloud my judgment. Other than that, it was black on black, and Honda blacked out the motor even. They blacked out pretty much everything. I love that. There's chrome on it, but for the most part, it's blacked out completely. It's got analog gauges, but it does have analog gauges, but it will still tell you what gear you're in. It'll tell you the time, and it'll tell you how full you are and your mileage and all that on a digital display. I think that is the perfect middle ground between analog and digital. I think that's what I would want when I buy another bike. It does have a 4-into-1 from the factory, which is awesome. I did take the muffler off. It's got beautiful matte black mag wheels. It's got the tube design frame. So this bike is basically a one-off sort of thing. They didn't really use anything from, I'm sure they used some parts from another bike, like maybe the fuel injectors or something. But a majority of this, I would say almost all this, is just completely unique to this line of bikes. The headlight is nice and rounded. The dual horns in the front. This thing has a loud horn. I don't want to honk it because I think people live up there, and I don't want to like sound like I'm dying or something. But it does. One thing to note is it does have a shift linkage. So if you want to put a quick shifter in, or you want to go to GP shift, you can. The passenger situation, I've had my girlfriend on the back a couple times, and it's a very nice bike to ride with the passenger on. The seating position, the ergonomics of it are absolutely just awesome. They're very upright. You do lean a little forward, but it's not as aggressive nearly as a sport bike. And honestly, for a taller rider, ignore what I'm saying because I'm shorter, and so I'm going to have to lean where you do not have to lean. If you want a modern retro bike that does it very faithfully, this is the bike for you. So with that walk around out of the way, let's continue. You can just hear how nice it sounds. Overall, it's just an absolutely beautiful bike. And it's got some get up to it. It really does. This thing, 0 to 60s, so far I haven't gotten really good at launching it, and the tires on it are stiffer compound. They're not really good for getting grip. But I've got it to 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, which is not bad at all. It's actually very quick. But this section here, I might get on it a little bit just to test the exhaust and show you how much get up this bike actually has, or at least some of it. I just ran over something. Yeah, as you can see, it's got good brakes. It's got some get up to it, but yeah, overall, it's a great bike. It'll do whatever you need to do and then some. It's definitely what I would consider a sleeper. You look at this bike. I've had some people in some cars try to race me on it. I haven't lost yet. I haven't lost yet. I would like to look at the actual number sold in the US as far as this year, but I have no idea how rare it is. I just know I've never seen one before outside of this one. And that's another reason I like this bike so much, is it's a conversation starter. Everybody's like, what is it? You know, a lot of people I've talked to, even some of my friends that are into motorcycles, or some people I know that are into motorcycles, they didn't know about this bike. It's just not talked about. It's, you know, it's not so insanely fast and mainstream that it's popular, and that's what I like about it. Not everybody has one. Like, that's the thing, like, you know, a R6 or an R1, everybody's got that. A CBR 600 or 1000, everybody's got that. I saw him coming way through the trees. Yeah, this bike is absolutely awesome. If you are going to buy one but are on the fence, I would say totally get it. I've had the opportunity to test ride some bikes, a lot of bikes. I've had the opportunity to even test ride the XSR 700, which is more or less a competitor to this. And I just have to say that it's an absolutely awesome machine, that it definitely has a presence about it. I wouldn't necessarily go as far, like I've turned some heads and broken some necks with this bike, and I say that with a lot of modesty. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I have the coolest bike on the internet, but like, honestly, this bike has a lot of presence to it, and I think that's an important factor. I don't want to have the same thing as everybody else. I don't want someone to go, look, oh, it's an R6, or it's a CBR 600, or a CBR 1000. Like, you see those fucking everywhere. I want to have something that people either can't figure out what it is, or they're like, man, I never see those. Bike does have some get up. So, with all that being said, it's just an awesome bike. I can't recommend it enough if you're on the fence about it. But yeah, this is going to be the end of the video, so I appreciate you so much watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay tuned, because I will be making a bit more CB1100 content. Probably, if anything comes out in the next month or so, it's probably going to be more garage content because of the weather, but I still do try to get out and ride for leisure. I consider this riding for leisure, even though I'm really doing it for a YouTube video. But overall, just an amazing bike. I'm very happy with my decision, and I hope that through some tasteful modifications, this will be a even more fun bike. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.